Deuce Close. Mastering Madden.
Let's go over how we can get much better run support and how we can disguise our coverage much better running simple cover 3. But before then, I want to let you guys know about a little resource that I put together that goes over the state of match coverage in Madden. Okay, I put together kind of a first draft that goes over all of the coverage rules of all the different types of cover 4 and cover 3 in this game, along with some of the issues and bugs that come along with it. So I'll definitely leave a link to that in the description below. Maybe I'll pin a comment as well. I think a lot of people have been asking about, if there's a written resource out there that kind of sums up all this stuff. There's a lot of videos out there, but I think it's kind of hard to pick through all of those and get the information you want. So this is going to be kind of like a one-stop place that is going to be continually updated, and that's going to give you the information that you need. So if you want to all of a sudden start running cover 6 or all of a sudden start running cover 3 match, you're going to know what the coverage responsibilities actually are. So you know what your defense is doing, and you know as a user what you should be doing, and what issues and bugs you want to look out there for. I do want to encourage you guys that if you do have some knowledge, so if you see anything with the resource that's wrong or missing, or you see some interesting new bugs or issues, I definitely encourage you guys to drop a comment or at me on Twitter at DeuceClose. That would be much appreciated. I think we can kind of use this going forward for a resource for ourselves, and then helping to improve the game for the developers. Anyway, so that's quickly that, and then we'll go over cover 3 in this game. It's going to be kind of a quicker video, but I think there's some really interesting tips here. So I like to run a lot of big nickel over G. First of all, I made a video on how we can get really good stock pressure by simply slanting our defensive line. Big nickel over G, cover 3, you do have some issues though, where you don't have cover 3 buzz and you don't have cover 3 cloud, but there are ways that we can work that in, and there's other little fun adjustments that we can do to really make it much better against the run. So I'm going to kind of go over that first, and then we're going to go over the coverage adjustments behind it. So you've seen a lot of videos out there that are showing how to, improve your cover 3, whether it's shading, protecting the sticks, cross-manning certain guys. I think this is going to be something different that you haven't seen before, and I think it's going to be useful where your opponent also hasn't seen it. So say if we come into a formation like gun A slot offset here, which is probably one of the better shotgun running formations. So if you pick inside zone here, now am I going to be naive here and think that the running game is really overpowered in this game and that everybody needs a lot of help stopping the run? Probably not, but I think this is going to be something that's going to be helpful anyway. So this formation especially, the block's set up well. Now in head-to-head and more so in practice modes, the block sheds kind of come through anyway, and if you're a decent user, this shouldn't give you too much issues. But you see, the blocks themselves work out really nicely, and then if you can get a nice little hold. But you see, the blocks themselves work out pretty nicely. Usually you can hit that B gap. I think the B gap does it a lot better than cutting it outside in terms of how the blocks hold up. But so then if we think about cover 3 as, in general, a good run defense where we're bringing this weak side safety down to the box, so now you have 4 defensive linemen, 2 inside linebackers, and then 2 overhang defenders with the nickel player here and then the weak side safety here. But is this weak side safety really helping us out, at least in shotgun runs, where if they do run it, it's going to be on the strong side B gap, or they're going to bounce it outside. And so in this case where he's playing kind of the contain / force defender, on that other side, he's effectively taken out of the run play because nobody's really running counters, because by the time the running back gets the ball, the entire defensive line's in the backfield, and nobody's really running read option either. So why don't we bring him to the other side to help us out instead? So what I did here was I man aligned, so triangle and R1. So that's going to bring this defender way over here, and if we look in the run fits, he's going to be a +1 on this side, so he's going to be unaccounted for essentially. So now when we do our run play, and by the way, I should note this is this mana line is really only going to work on 3x1 formations. Okay, so if the offense is even, you can't really get a +1 on the other side. And then I've noticed that other formations like nickel normal, the mana line messes up the zones. In this case, you saw how everything got nicely shifted over. That extra player is now the strong hook, and everything kind of gets shifted over. So now if we run the run play here, we have an extra defender that's not going to be blocked. So rather than relying on the block shed, which, let's face it, is pretty good in this game, you can just come in free here. So whether they cut it outside, like I just did there, or they try to hit the strong side B gap, that +1 is, I did kind of a poor job running the ball there, but that +1 is going to do a good job of filling that extra hole. So that's really nice. So it's really just a matter of mana lining, and then you have some other good things about it. So first of all, now the strong hook player is a defensive back that you could get a cornerback in there. So you could get, say, like a Deion Sanders. So in the run fit, Deion Sanders you don't need anybody to block shed because, like I just showed you there, he just comes in through anyway. And if you saw my last video, you see that the strong hook has some responsibility to take corner routes on, say, a sail concept from the trip side here. So he's going to do a much better job of, say, a linebacker that you would normally have there. So that's two great things about it already. You're much better against the inside zone. You're not much worse off on runs the other way because, they're never really going to run that way to the weak side there. You're better against the flood concepts there. Other things is now we can manually adjust the weak side flat defender to a hard flat without shading and without ruining the rest of our zones. So the reason why you'd want to do that, if you recall back several videos ago when I was showing you how to defend trips tight end or defend, a formation like this, where a popular route combination has the running back on that table route, and really the only way you can stop that is with a hard flat. So now you can manually put this guy in a hard flat without ruining the rest of your zones. So that's going to be really nice for you. So much better against the run. You can manually put this guy in a hard flat. You have a defensive back here on the corner route if that comes about. Other things that you can do. So what I was talking about with disguise. Right away when anybody sees single high safety, it's pretty much a dead giveaway that it's cover 3. Nobody's really running cover 1, and it's hard to disguise out of single high. But with big nickel over G, we can do some cool things. So first of all, we can put our strong side cornerback on a cloud flat or a hard flat. And we can put this nickel defender, because he is technically a safety, now he has safety coverage adjustments. So you can put him on an outside third, and now you've created a cover 3 cloud look on the strong side here, where you previously couldn't with big nickel over G. So even if you say press here, and this is a nice way in cover 3 to put a jam on the number 1 wide receiver without being exposed over the top. So now if we are audibling to stick here, your opponent sees that, okay, they're running cover 3, but they have their strong side cornerback in a cloud flat. Well, I should be able to kind of get behind them. But the deep third there now does a good job of covering back out there. And you can be even really aggressive here, especially against 3x1, where we know that cover 3 checks to Mabel. We can put that guy in a hard flat. We can put this guy on a deep third. And by the way, despite being in a deep third, he's still the force defender. He's still going to be primary run support, which is, doesn't really make sense from a football standpoint, but whatever. It works for us in this case. And so you can be aggressive on that hard flat because you know that this deep third from the slot here is going to cover any verticals from number 1. He's going to be able to get out there. And now this hook curl here is going to be helping you with crossers and corners on the trip side. Because now, remember, we're not shading, so these hook curls will still be working to defend the sidelines a little bit. And even if you run a hard flat here, and even if they run stick, this sometimes happens with coverage in general in this game. Anyway, they run stick, they still can't really fit that vertical in there. Just like that. So you're safe there. And you can do it to both sides, really. So you have, first of all, what you're essentially doing here is kind of like a cover 3 buzz, where the safety now is rotating to the strong side. So by default, the safeties rotate to the weak side in cover 3, which kind of makes sense, right? You want overhangs on both sides of the ball to account for runs to the left and to the right, and you want defensive backs on both sides of the ball. But I think in this case, just on how Madden is played, I think we're safe to over-rotate to the strong side, like we're doing here. So now this is kind of like the weak safety here, and your strong safety is coming down into the box here. So you already have kind of a cover 3 buzz look, and then from there we can do the cover 3 cloud. And if I now reset this play, because I was kind of moving everybody around, you can also be kind of crazy and do cover 3 cloud look on both sides. So if you don't do the mana line and if you don't spin your safety strong, you can have cover 3 cloud on both sides. So at this point, you're kind of like a cover 2. You're kind of like a cover 2 that's played in Madden 19, where the middle third, nobody really trusts the mid read, so they put the middle linebacker in a middle third. But now you got a safety there. You have these deep thirds, which get a little bit more involved in the deep halves. And you have the hook curls here rather than the vertical hooks that you would find in a cover 2. And the hook curls, assuming, again, you don't shade, these hook curls are going to get much more involved in the vertical hooks, where they're going to cover the corners on flood routes, and they're going to cover crossers, albeit they won't do a great job, but at least they'll help out. So when your opponent's coming out, they see single high, the last thing they're going to expect is essentially what is a cover 2. And like I showed you, we could even press that. If my guys will press, you can even press that and you'll still be safe. So I'm not sure why he didn't press, but you'll still be safe. So nice little ways that we can start to bring disguise to our cover 3 without, say, having to, base align. So base align, now it's like, you can really be anything. Though, weird things happen with base align, like Patrick Chung coming all the way out here. So you could think like, this could be anything, too high safety on the base align. But, it's not a good habit to get into. Because now you have receivers kind of running free, and then the run fits aren't as good in baseline. You definitely don't have that extra defender. Now, having the extra defender over here where the inside zone is going to come, he's way over here. So it's a way we can disguise it without ruining our run fits. Plus, if you're running other coverages like cover 4, you're running cover 2, and then all of a sudden, if you're running cover 3, you're using baseline, well, that's a giveaway in itself. You might as well stay single high there. So I think this is a much better way of, first of all, getting much better run support, and much better way at disguising the coverages, where we can be a little bit creative with it. We can do cover 3 buzz out of big nickel over G. We can do cover 3 cloud on the strong side, and we can do cover 3 cloud really on both sides or just the weak side. And yeah, I really like it. The other thing, of course, is it's a way to get cloud flats on the field without shading. So now we can we can press here. We got this extra defender. The only thing is that it kind of takes a while to get the adjustments for these guys into your head. So it's kind of triangle, and then left for the outside third to the left, and then the other side it's a triangle, left on the right stick rather than the left stick. So it's something to kind of get used to. You can also, if you're so inclined, you can put those guys into deep halves if you want to be a little bit safer against cover 3 beaters, but it is what it is. Okay, so that's that. Use that out, guys. I've definitely been using it. People get really confused, see the single high, and then all of a sudden there's a cloud flat there's a corner sitting in the cloud there, in the flat. And then they expect it, and then the next play you leave him on his regular third assignment, and it really messes with people. And then make sure to check out that the resource on the state of cover 3, or state of match coverage in Madden 19. Okay, we'll see you guys in the next one.